most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Shaw, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course,
We're
Bob.
just listening to kind of an entertaining patient. But 6 things the most successful people do every day. This is part of the series where we're trying to make you a better you. And by the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, join us on our social media channels and go to our website, bobandbrad.com, because we're always giving something away. Nothing today, but starting tomorrow, we're going to be giving away a mattress again.
Yes.
Maybe a pillow too. We're going to try to talk them into it. They're making pillows now too, and they're great. Also, can find it on Bob and Brad on Facebook. It'll be pinned to the top of the page. 60-second version of us. Go to Twitter and Instagram. If you can't put up with us that long, that'd be the answer for you. All right. So these are the things that successful people do to maximize results and success. And we're going to start off with a successful morning routine. So
yes.
I like to listen to Tim Ferriss. He has a podcast, quite a popular podcast.
Sure.
Just look up Tim Ferriss. And one thing he does, he interviews highly successful people, but he always asks them about their morning routine. And it's really interesting to hear really intelligent people talk about how they spend their mornings.
Sure.
But one thing he found out that seems to run true to a lot of them is that they meditate. A lot of them have taken up meditation in the mornings. We've talked about this in the past. I don't meditate, but I do a stretching program in the morning, which almost seems meditative.
Sure.
You know, I'm real relaxed. The thinking is flowing, and it's just, I feel good after it.
Yeah. It's one thing I do not do, and it's challenging for me because
you're hyper.
Yeah, I like to keep, but I've come close to it in Aikido classes I've taken, where you're in a class and you're forced to do it. Not that it's forced, but you just go along. It's like, wow, it's very relaxing, and everything else is gone. And so I've experienced it, but I have not yet. That's one thing I could work on.
I've done it in a hot tub. Seriously, I have. I've done meditation in a hot tub. It just really works well, the sound and everything like that.
Sure.
It really felt revived after I came out of there. But
Sure.
All right, number 2, they block out time and focus on important tasks during the time. So I've really been big into this lately, Brad. I'm reading this book called Deep Work: Rules for Success in a Distracted World.
Yeah.
And I've really tried to incorporate this in my life. So what I do is I'll pick blocks of time.
Yep.
And I take away all distractions.
Right.
I go in the room and nothing. I'm not going to answer to anything. I'm going to focus on my work for 2 hours.
Yep.
And I have breaks planned, like every half hour I get up and I hang. Well,
it's a stretch.
That's a stretch. Yeah, not hang. But it's amazing how much work you get done when you stay real focused like that, and even your thinking becomes a lot more clear.
And that's typical, like as a therapist, when you have an evaluation and it's in a room and no one's going to interrupt you, you can really focus on the problem and on the patient and be productive. And that's one thing I need to work on now with some of the things at home. Particularly as reading. I need to force myself to sit down and block everything else out, so I'm not being influenced, particularly by the cell phone. You got one coming up here with a cell phone habit that I've got to work on.
But the book gave an example. This gentleman named Adam Grant. He's the youngest full professor at Wharton School of Business. And you said you have a nephew that went there?
Well, he graduated there, business school.
So, and he has written more than 60 peer-reviewed publications in his short career. I mean, that's just very highly productive. I don't remember how old he is.
But he's younger.
But he, again, youngest full professor.
Sure.
And I mean, so he's knocking them out. And that's in addition to teaching classes.
And he wrote a book.
He also wrote a best-selling book in that time, like he didn't have enough time.
He's one of those guys that don't sleep. 1 hour of sleep a night, probably.
Well, I don't think that's always the case, Brad. A lot of times they really make good choices on how to use their time. So number 3, a lot of people use a calendar for their to-do list. Now you say, what's the difference? If you write a to-do list, which is what I often do, I'll put a to-do list. There's nothing that's accounting that you say you're going to get it done. So what they do is they actually put it in their calendar, like at 2 o'clock, I'm going to do this. At 2:30, I'm going to do this. So they're, it's all laid out.
Right.
It's going to get done.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
number 4, they look at their day in minutes, not hours. And this all started with this one guy who wrote this article. Actually, he said he saw where Alan Greenspan, who used to be the former chairman of the Federal Reserve, he would divide his days into 15 minutes instead of half hours or hours. And you think about it, yeah, that's going to force you to be a little more efficient.
Sure.
Because you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes. Now I got to move on to do this.
Right.
And you don't drag that one thing out.
Right.
So number 5, and this is what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, you've got to really turn off email and distractions. I put the phone on airplane mode.
Sure.
You got to get in the habit, and I've tried to do this myself, and I've done this for years, is that I check email in batches instead of checking every time you hear a ding.
Oh, so
right,
notification. I gotta check.
So it's like salivating at the dog. And
some people might be thinking, well, sounds pretty mechanical and pretty rigid for their lifestyle. Maybe, but maybe you can do part of this, and that's the way I am. It's like, this is every 15-minute Alan Greenspan. That might be good for him, but it's not going to work in my life. But I could see where I could do that for
in
parts
a sense,
of a
you're
day.
a little like that because you're seeing patients every
right.
half hour.
Yep.
And so you are scheduled
right.
that way.
So you can take pieces of this into your life.
That's exactly right. And number 6, you got to really take care of your body. You can't be productive if you're not healthy.
Right.
I mean, and I have held this philosophy for years, is that I'm not going to be any good to my family if they have to take care of me because of health.
Right.
And so I actually put my health first a lot of times over other things. And the other thing is sleep. I mean, the importance of sleep. It's really optimal is 7 to 8 hours for most people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that few individuals that can get by with 6 or 4.
I think I need more in the winter.
I wouldn't doubt it. A lot of times, it's like the hibernating bear.
My wife, she had the right to just kick me out of the house last night. I was tired and I was grumpy, and it's like, I was no fun to be around. This morning I woke up, I got to bed early because she didn't. I don't blame her. It's like, she should have kicked me to bed. But anyways, I got up this morning, felt much better.
Should I slap you now for her? Would that be acceptable?
No, Bob. This is a family show.
All right, no violence. All right, so those are the 6 things. Give them a shot, and you too can become successful.
There you go.
All right, thanks for watching.